Hi students, good morning or good afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. I'm in Chicago for my boyfriend's sister's graduation. So I'm sorry I had to miss out, but hopefully you still get the lesson so that you are ready to turn in your essay by Wednesday. Remember that your essay is due on Wednesday. So right now you should have your Cornell notes out and a pencil. Later on, you will need your Chromebooks and all of your essay materials so that you can continue working and revising on your essay. First, let's have a quick discussion. And I know this is going to be weird because I'm not there with you, but for 2 minutes, you're going to talk to your table groups. What is a counterclaim and why are they important in an essay? So discuss with your table groups what is a counterclaim and how are they used in an essay? Why are they important? Talk for 2 minutes and then be ready to share out and go. Oops. Now discuss with your table groups. You should be talking about what is a counterclaim and why are they important in essays. You should still be talking to your table groups. What is a counterclaim and why do you think they're important in essays? Make sure everyone at your table has spoken. Wow, 2 minutes seems really long when I'm just sitting here watching the timer. But you should still be talking to your table groups. In 40 seconds, we're going to have a few people share out. In 30 seconds, we're going to have a couple people share out. Hopefully you're still talking at your table groups. All right, let's start to turn your conversations off. Turn your voices off in 7, 6, 5. Eyes up front. Right, and your voices should be off. So let's start to share out. I don't really know how this is going to work, but let's do this. First period, Khalid, why don't you share out what you think a counterclaim is? If you don't know, then someone else help him out. In third period, let's have Melissa share out what you think a counterclaim is. And then Khalid or Melissa, call on someone else to say why you think counterclaims are important. Yeah, does that make sense? So Khalid, share out what do you think a counterclaim is. Melissa, share out what you think a counterclaim is. Then Khalid and Melissa, after you share, call on someone else to share why counterclaims are important. Okay, try to finish that up in 2 minutes and go. So Khalid, you should be sharing. Melissa, you should be sharing. Then pick on someone else. Okay, Khalid and Melissa, make sure that you pick on someone else to share out why counterclaims are important in essays. So I'm going to stop it If you want to keep sharing, just pause my video so you can keep sharing or finish up, but I'm going to move on. Okay? So the plan for today's lesson is that you will be able to write counterclaims in your essays to make your arguments stronger. And as a part of today's lesson, I want you to be able to understand the purpose of these counterclaims. Why would we include them anyways? So in your Cornell notes, you're going to take notes on what's happening in this video here, and then after we take notes, you're going to work independently. So take out your Cornell notes, write down the essential question, what are counterclaims and why are they important? Your learning target, I will be able to understand how to write counterclaims in my essay. Pause the video now so that you have time to write this down. Right, hopefully you had time to write that previous slide down. Remember to keep pausing it. Signal to the substitute when you need to pause or have a student pause so that everyone's done writing. But I'm just going to keep moving on, knowing that you have paused, and then just play when you're ready to move on. Right? So what are counterclaims? Thank you to those of you who shared earlier. The definition of a counterclaim: counterclaims are parts of your essay when you acknowledge opposing or opposite opinions than yours. So that's when you kind of show that you know that other people have different opinions, and you talk about that in your essay. More importantly, you then say why your opinion is still better than theirs. Right? So first, you acknowledge that there are people who have opposite opinions, and then you say why your opinion is still better than the opposite. So for example, here's an example of a body paragraph. In purple, you will see the counterclaim, and in red, you will see what you should write after the counterclaim. It is true that some child soldiers have grown up to become adult soldiers. Some argue that these soldiers have committed unspeakable acts. They have gone on to recruit other child soldiers. Ishmael Bia, in his memoir Long Way Gone, shows that even the youngest of child soldiers have committed horrible atrocities. I shot everything that moved. He described how he moved from village to village and killed others. So this purple part here is a counterclaim, right? This writer is acknowledging that some people argue that child soldiers have committed terrible things. Notice how, for the counterargument, this student has also provided evidence. You also need to provide evidence for your counterclaim. But more importantly, after using that counterclaim, after talking about the counterclaim, you still need to say why your argument is better, and that's what we have in the red here. And yet, can you really hold these teenagers responsible for how they have tried to survive or how they have been shaped by war? These same teens have lost their families and were desperate to survive. Take them out of these wars, give them a peaceful place to live, and perhaps they will put down their guns. Right? This writer transitioned into their own writing, their own claim with a question. You could try that as well. Also notice these transitions that led into the counterclaim, and then this question is leading out of the counterclaim. You don't have to copy this whole thing down. I will put these into Classroom so you can look at it there as well. But I just want you to notice what it sounds like in a body paragraph to have a counterclaim and how you would respond to that counterclaim. So we're asking ourselves, how does this counterclaim make the argument stronger? Go ahead and pause the video so you can talk about this with your table groups. Pause the video so you can talk about this with your table groups. So hopefully you had a chance to talk about this. Hopefully you had a chance to share with your table groups, maybe even share it out loud to the class. But counterclaims help to make your argument stronger because once you say a counterclaim, your reader can trust that you know what you're talking about. If you can show that you understand the other side, then it shows that you've done your research, which allows the reader to trust you more, which makes your argument stronger. And then when you talk about the counterclaim and then you talk about why yours is better, that only makes you sound more knowledgeable. I already said that, but it makes you just sound like you know exactly what you're talking about. And by acknowledging what others think, and by saying that yours is better, your claim sounds even better. Here are some possible ideas or structures that you might want to use in your essay. You might have to play the next video because my video is going to stop in a little bit.